Hey everyone, this is Fighter Kaus here for another episode of The Drop. Here today I've got some Dragon Ball news, some gaming news, and some comic news, but mostly Dragon Ball news. We've got, that, of course, that big elephant in the room is Dragon Ball FighterZ. Really close. By the time this comes out, it'll only be, about 3 days until it releases for everyone. And we've got to talk about the other elephant in the room, about Dragon Ball Super's ending, I guess. I'll give you the details on that too, and without further ado, let's get to it. So, for the first piece of news, I have to ask, were you waiting for Ys VIII on the PC? Well, you're gonna have to wait an indefinite amount of time longer. That is to say, we have no idea when it's coming out, but it ain't gonna be soon. NIS America actually released a message that specifies why. You see, low frame rate issues and memory leak problems were apparent from the earliest PC build. And then during the beta tests, there was also the problem of it's basically just frame rate. Had to look real deep. More frame rate problems and all that, and they wanted to. The PC version was always seen as a port, and they didn't want to change the core programming, but it looks like they will have to change the core programming in order to optimize it better for the PC, which means they basically have to redevelop whole parts of the game, if not the whole game. Sorry, that was like a burp that I was trying to hold in, even though I shouldn't. So we have no idea when it's coming out, but this doesn't affect the localization update for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita versions, and that's still coming out on January 30th. So if you're playing it on PS4 and Vita, or you're only wanting the PC version to get a better localization, alright, this next piece of news I got courtesy of 16-Bit Jeff, as with actually the East news was also courtesy of him. I forgot to thank him there. So I'm thanking him here for this one and for the previous piece of news. This is from Revenge of the Fans. It's about DC's, what DC's got cooking up, and what DC's trying to do to quell unchecked rumors and all that. DC has something called a news show. I don't know what the name of it is. I don't think they actually announced what the name of it is. But there's going to be a DC news show similar to DC All Access, but it's with daily and exclusive stuff, and major news will be released through this portal. So they're trying to do things. They're trying to, check what's being told about them and all that. Kind of like trying to control data, but not all controlling or all whatever. But they're basically trying to control like what's being said about them and stuff, and say, hey, let us set the record straight right here. Boom, check our news show. Some part of me thinks, is that good or is that bad? It's good that they want to quell, rumors that aren't true, but it could also mean, like, controlling rumors and all that. It also kind of sounds like, well, we're trying to protect our public image, which you do want to do. Part of me is like, we're trying to not let people say anything they want and put down any criticism. Not saying they are. I'm just saying that's kind of. It's like a double-edged sword, Yay, you have news, but also, you want to control everything? Like, that isn't scary at all. And I'm a DC fan, but, I have to give both sides of this viewpoint here. I have to. It's just me. Here's some other cool news, though. Actually cool news. Or maybe not, because the real list of announced movies is not as big as the actual movies that they have in the works. But the writer of this article has some intel on what actually they're working on. Here's what DC themselves say. People who are, throwing out around rumors say that's being worked on by DC. Here's what is being said. Aquaman, Shazam, Suicide Squad 2, The Batman, Justice League Dark, Batgirl, Green Lantern Corps, Flashpoint, Wonder Woman 2, Man of Steel 2, Nightwing, Lobo, Cyborg, Deadshot, Deathstroke, Black Adam, Booster Gold, why not put Blue Beetle? Untitled Joker movie, Untitled Joker Harley Quinn movie, Gotham City Sirens, Birds of Prey. As of the writing of the article that Jeff gave me, the real movies that DC has working on right now that are totally... So, Dragon Ball FighterZ is nearing its release date on January 26th, and with that, we saw Android 21 having a new form, a playable form, where she takes on a transformation where she basically looks like a Majin Buu type character, but with, you know, her nice hair and her nice female figure. Basically, she somehow she became even more of a waifu. Somehow, it's like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker talking about waifus instead of being father and son. It's like we found a way to make Android 21 even more of a waifu. That's not true. That's impossible. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Like somehow they did it. And she also got a launch trailer that shows off her playstyle and all that, where she basically acts kind of like Rogue from X-Men vs. Street Fighter, where she could take your power real quick with a special move, and you know, like depending on the character, she takes your Kamehameha or your Kienzan / Destructo Disc or your Taioken / Solar Flare or whatever, and she can eat you, and basically that's like her super, her level 3 super. She can eat you. And she looks just awesome, and I'm glad Toriyama went out of his way to design her for this game. I'm glad. Thank you, Toriyama-sensei. And also on Dragon Ball FighterZ is the fact that apparently its review embargoes are up, and Dragon Ball FighterZ has been getting pretty dang good reviews. Happy Console Gamer even put up a review the day I recorded this, and he said, and I quote, and this is the guy who's been playing fighting games, all types of games for years, and he said, and I quote, it is in his top 10 fighting games of all time already, and coming from Happy Console Gamer, that's something. This guy's played a lot of fighting games. I mean, you know, this guy and me, and like, he's you know, he's been around. He's been playing Street Fighter 2, KOF, Tekken, a lot of fighting games. And for him to say that this game is in his top 10 list of all time is no small feat and no laughing matter. That's nuts. Of course, you know, you've got the GameSpot reviews and the IGNs and the Polygons and all that, but I don't care about those. I mean, okay, it's been doing good. Matter of fact, I can check Metacritic right now. And Metacritic gives it, you know, Metacritic aggregates. It's got an 87% right now. Almost a 90. Pretty dang good. And again, it's not even out yet. EGM gave it a 90. EGM's still around. EGM gave it a 90. You know, all these other sites I don't care about. Like I said, the people I trust are people like Happy Console Gamer. So, bro, Ryu, we'll see what he says when he gets in as our buddy. Check him out, Shin Station. Check out his Twitch, twitch.tv/FighterZReady. That's a free promo, so, bro. I hope you're listening to this. That's a free promo. You're welcome. Can't wait to play Fighters. I think I'm getting it February, thanks to a certain friend of mine. Oh, alright. He knows who he is. He's mentioned it. But, yeah. And I'll try and get Geese as well for Tekken 7, now that I got a controller. Yeah, that's something I guess I should also talk about. It's not news really, but I'll just bring it up. Yeah, my DualShock 4, the old DualShock 4s, I'm certain a lot of you had the same problem, where the springs on the shoulder buttons would get worn down, and they'd start just, like, I'm playing Uncharted or something like that, and they'll start aiming and shooting without me even touching them, because the springs are so messed up. And just today, just before recording this, I went to GameStop and traded it in. I said, well, it's defective, but, you know, you can still give me something, right? And they're like, yep. And I got a new redesigned one. And the redesigned DualShock 4s, I tested it right before recording. I'm going to go back to playing now that I have a controller to play with. Like, finally, I can play video games again. Woohoo! Yeah, that redesigned controller, that's a nice upgrade. It feels like a controller. The springs in the D-pad, in the not D-pad, the triggers feel better. Just want to say, make sure if you have an old launch day PS1 like me, yeah, get on that new redesigned controller if you haven't already. It took me a couple years. You know, it came out in 2016, that redesign, but I only got it now. So, yeah. All right, let's get on to the final thing. Alright, time for the final bit of news. This is about Dragon Ball Super now. And Dragon Ball Super is not continuing for this year. It is done in March. Thanks to Todd Blankenship Herms over on Kanzenshu. Kanzenshu is basically the Dragon Ball site. I mean, there's RDBZ and there's all these other places that I go to. There's YouTube channels like Geekdoms. But when it comes to accurate stuff, I always want to go straight to Kanzenshu. Plus, RDBZ and Geekdom usually take, they usually information that's on Kanzenshu that they're using. So why not go to the source, right? And Herms is one of those people that is fluent in Japanese and translated this, if you guys didn't know. Follow him at Herms98, Herms 98. Yes, another free shout out, but please, I'm pretty sure more of you know about him than his fans not knowing about, right? Like, come on, I only have like 100 subs, please. Anyways, he put up a interview from Dragon Ball Super's, one of their directors, I think. Super's current time slot, well, here's the sum up. He put it himself. Super's current time slot is taken by another show, and at least one staff member says Super's ending, and Fuji TV apparently said this won't be the end for Dragon Ball TV, but future plans aren't set in stone, and if you guys don't know, the show that's taking up Dragon Ball Super's time slot is Gegege no Kitaro, which has been around for decades. Matter of fact, the original Gegege no Kitaro on TV, the original protagonist of that show, Kitaro, was voiced by Masako Nozawa. So Nozawa, before being known as Goku, was already super famous as the voice of Kitaro from Gegege no Kitaro. And that show is humongous in Japan. It makes me, though, sometimes I get it. That is your country, of course. You want to do what's best. The local, for the local market, it makes sense. For the global market, it makes zero sense. And the global market cares about Dragon Ball more, and that's sometimes you're like, yeah, a lot of people say, yeah, I get it, makes sense. But then, the same people who do that don't think about the global market. It's like, well, yeah, it makes sense for the local market, and you're not complaining because you're used to it, but think about the global market, think about the money they're missing out on. Although at the same time, yeah, but the production time and all that for Super was messed up, i.e. all that bad animation, you remember? Hopefully, the counter argument is hopefully this hiatus, which is not, it's ending. The new show might not even be called Dragon Ball Super if it comes back on TV. There's a new Dragon Ball, might not even be Super, might be called something else. Who knows? But they're saying, well, it'll be better for production and all that. And there is the movie coming out. There's another thing, the counter argument to that is, well, you want the movie to be good, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. I don't mind waiting. That's not my problem. It's just, it reminds me too much of the Tecmo Koei deal with Dead or Alive. It's not Dead or Alive. Is it ending just 5? But we're not working on 6 at all right now. So what are you doing? Oh, we're not going to tell you. Thanks, Koei Tecmo, or Tecmo Koei, whichever one it is first. No, it's Koei Tecmo, KT, right. This reeks of that a little bit too much, and it makes me think again, what are you thinking about the global audience? Where is that? You're making more money around the world than you are with just Japan, right? The world is bigger. Just obvious logic. You guys can say you're taking a break, but you guys should have something. The fact that you have nothing set in stone when Dragon Ball is a huge worldwide franchise after the movie, that makes no sense to me. That's the part I'm iffed about. It's not that it's taking a break. It's not that it's going off. It's not that it's going to be a movie. It's none of that. It's the fact that they're saying that there's nothing set in stone after that. What do you mean? You're leaving too much money on the table. It's my same argument about Dead or Alive. You're leaving too much money on the table. Gegege no Kitaro is good. I actually like the theme song. Ge no ge da na 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 na. Yes. I've actually heard of. I'm actually one of the few people who's watched it. Parts of it, little bits and pieces, and the ending song too. Karang koro, karang karang koro. You look it up on YouTube. That's fine with me. It's just, man, really, nothing's set in stone. What is your head up your butt? There's so much stuff. All these other universes, all these other characters. Maybe if it didn't have to be the Goku show, there'd be something you could work on. Matter of fact, you got the Dragon Ball room, right, with a bunch of writers. I would love to see a Dragon Ball reboot that's written, with all those retcons Toriyama made, but written more cohesively so that this stuff makes more sense. Knowing the stuff that Toriyama retcons later, written at the beginning, and have it all kind of flow better. I I would love to do that. I would love to join the Dragon Ball room. I've already got an idea for a reboot, but I'm just some poor dude over here in the United States. Here's also another Fuji TV interview about Dragon Ball Super's ending. And it's nothing new, it just reiterates that it really is ending, it's not on hiatus. Is Dragon Ball ending? Fuji TV answers, yes, the series presently on air will end here for now. Really? So it's not just changing to another time slot. TV says, at present it is ending. Beyond that, it's still undecided. That means the Universal arc will wrap up. Fuji TV, that's right. The Universal Survival arc will conclude at the end of March. Will there be a sequel? Fuji TV, currently it is undecided, so there's nothing I can tell you, but when something's... That bugs me! Right, that's what I said before. What do you mean there's nothing decided after the movie? What do you mean there's nothing decided next? The break is fine, but that bugs the crap out of me. What do you guys think? I'm done here. I'm gonna go play some games and calm down. Follow me on the social media. Links are in the description below. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen. And, let me know your opinions. You don't have to agree with me. Just, as long as we're calm and collected about it. Go ahead and say what you want to say. I'm Fighter Chaos. I'll see you guys next week.